Hi everyone, it is Monday, so it is time for the weekly planner page. Now this picture I think is from either Enchanted Forest or Secret Garden, obviously by Johanna Basford. It's her planner page. Now there are lots of different ways that I've seen people do this page over the years, because obviously it's quite an old one. I've seen lots of versions. And I'm going to try something which is, you know, a little bit based on what I've seen, but slightly different, I guess. What I've often seen is a nice background. Sorry, I'm going to do some pastels in a minute, hence my cloth. A nice background, and then this marked out in black. I'm going to do it slightly differently. I've just bought a new gold Posca pen, so I'm going to do the outline in gold. So through every little line, so if the leaf is outlined, just do the outline, but with the bird it's solid, to do the whole bird, that sort of thing. So that's my idea for this, but I'm not going to do, I'm going to do the pen last, but I'm going to do a background with some pastels first. Now I've seen it done with pinks and purples with a black. It looks really good, or with a sort of moon in the middle and then a sky and then black silhouette. And the black works really well, and I've done a black version, I think. Can't remember, may have done. So I thought I would do the gold, which would just be a little bit different, just give you a different idea. And it's quite easy to do this as well, which is always nice. But for the background, I thought I would do a purple. I think it works well with gold. But you may not agree, but we'll see what we can come up with. I'm not sure I've got the right colour. But I'm going to use my soft pastel set, and I'll just show you what we've got in here. Now I'm thinking, let me point with my pen, that's obviously my palest grey purpley blue. This one's still quite pale. Now this is a darkish purple, and that is more of a blue. So it may be that I mix these two. I'm going to start with this one. I want quite an intense colour. So as I say, I'm going to start with this one and see how we go. Before I start, I'm actually going to get a piece of paper to put behind this page. I don't always bother with the planner because I don't use the back. I don't use it as a planner. If I used it as a planner, I always would. But because I don't, I normally don't worry about it coming through onto the other side. But because it's pastel, it might go down the sides and all over the place. So I'm just going to grab a piece of paper, and then I can protect my page. Sorry, I said then I'm going to grab some paper, then I can protect my page. I should have paused the video, but I didn't. Sometimes confuses me when I'm editing if I've got lots of little bits of videos here and there, and I'm not quite sure which goes with which. So anyway, I'm going to push that right in, and it actually comes into these holes, which is good. It means the pastel won't go down onto the next page. So I'm going to use this. This is a makeup cloth which is reusable, it's washable. I thought it was a bit better for the environment than using the cotton pads, which are one use. And I'm just going to show you. I wouldn't always put a pastel on top of here while you're doing it, because it might get dust everywhere. But I'm just demoing for you. So I'm going to rub like that and then pop it on the page. Hang on. If I put that there, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Just get myself organised. Push that up there. There we go. Put that there. And I'm just going to gently rub. Now that's quite a dark purple, or it will be if I lay it up a lot. So I'm just going to keep going. Now with pastel, it's always wise not to put your fingers on the paper, which is what I'm doing. I'm just going to find another cloth there, and I can just lean on the page with this, because I don't want to get grease patches on the page, or else that makes the pastel look a bit nasty. Some people actually mix pastels with their fingers, and I used to do that when I was at school doing art. And but these days I find that it just leaves nasty grease patches. So I don't know what I did differently then. Maybe we had to go and wash our hands first. I don't really remember. It was quite a long time ago. I actually completely dreaded art lessons when I was at school. There were a few reasons. Firstly, I didn't think I was any good, and nor did my teacher or anybody in my class. That didn't help, because when you do like In a maths lesson, if it all goes horribly wrong, you get your work marked and it's all wrong. Nobody knows, you don't have to tell anybody. But in art, it seems to be very public. Everyone can see what you're doing, and it was, you know, so they can sort of judge you, which isn't very nice. And also, we used to often do painting, and we would have jam jars full of water. And I was always knocking mine on the floor, and it was so embarrassing. And you would have to go and get the mop and mop up the floor and things like that. Ugh. I did used to, I got together with a friend, and we used to push our easels together and put the water in the middle between them so that we could, because they were always on the edge, because you'd have your easel stand thing and your wooden board that you would put your piece of paper on, and so your water would have to either go on the right or left edge. And so it's really easy to knock it on the floor. So I guess I was a bit clumsy. I'm not so much now. My son, one of my sons is, we call him Toby Elbows at times. Oh, I'm just going to roll my sleeves up a little bit. He knocks cups of tea and things over a lot, but we just make sure they're well out of the way of his arms. Oops. When he's at the table, and then we don't get that problem. Now for me, this purple isn't as dark and intense as I wanted. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, when I have finished this layer, I'm going to hold it there instead. I'm going to add another colour on top, because I could keep adding purple, but I don't think it's going to get the intensity that I'm after. I find that I look at a lot of other people's art and they have beautiful intense backgrounds, and I realise that they haven't used pastel, even though it looks quite similar. They've actually used paint, and they can get a much more intense background with paint. I have experimented very briefly with using paint on backgrounds, but no, it just didn't look right, and I felt quite stressed doing it. It curled the paper, and frankly it looked horrible. So I'm going to persevere with my pastel, because I like my I'm sorry, I keep moving the book. I like my pastels. Oh, book, being naughty. Right, so there is a basic purple, and I'm going to look through my colours, and this here, look at that. That's a really intensive blue, and I'm going to use that. I'm just going to still use the same bit of pad, because it's going to be mixing with the purple anyway. I haven't used this before, it's quite daring, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's darker, but it's definitely blue. And what I'm going to do is put a layer of blue down. I'm just going to do a little bit there to show you. Get a clean piece of cloth and then put the purple back on top. And I'm hoping the purple will show back through, and we'll get quite a purpley blue. I think that is working. What I'm going to do now is finish that. I'm going to use that dark blue across the whole thing, go back over with purple. It's going to take me some time. I don't want to rush, and there's always a risk with pastel that you can scruff up the page. If you go too fast, the page can pull, and it can, sort of, as I say, scruff up a little bit, and that isn't ideal. So what I'm going to do is do it on my own, at my own pace, nice and slowly, enjoy it, and come back to you in a minute when it's all done. Okay, so excuse me, I'll disappear off, and you can then see whether it's something, because you might think it looks a bit muddy and dirty, or you might like it. So you can have a little think, look at that, see what you think. I think it looks a bit pale, but you might like it like that. And then when I come back with my two colours mixed, you can have a think and see whether you think it's for you. So I shall be off, and then I'll be back. Right, I am now back. I think that is one of the most intense sort of pastel backgrounds that I have actually done on a picture. Now I actually think that doing a white pen on that might work really well, but I'm going to stick with my gold idea. This is a brand new pen, so I thought I would take the opportunity to sort of show you how it works. I'm just going to take the plastic. They come covered in a plastic, which I think is to stop them drying out. So I'm just going to pull that off. I bought this quite recently. My husband was like, I'm doing an order for was it Colt Pens? I can't remember. Do you need anything? And someone had kindly sent me some money into my PayPal tip jar, and my pen had run out, so it was great. This one and my black both run out. Now, first thing, you shake. Now, as you can hear, oops, put that near the camera so you can hear, there's a metal ball inside which you can hear moving up and down, which shakes the pen, the ink. So that's what's going on first. And initially, it's quite a good shake. It doesn't need loads of shaking later. I'm just going to move my pastels away and my pad across to show you. I've got this piece of paper that I use behind the page. Just going to fold it in half. Oh, it's my son's computing homework. And I'll show you what we do. So now we've got the pen shaken up. I'll zoom in so you can have a look at his NAND gates. It's very exciting. Right, we'll move it in here. And you pump it up and down like that. Now it feels a bit, you wouldn't do this with a lot of pens. You would feel uncomfortable that you might ruin the nib, but this is how they're designed. You just keep going until some paint comes out. It's taking, if it takes what feels like too long, then you can reshake it and encourage it more. And then this pen has been sitting, I think they're probably better not the, I put them in a mug so the paint all runs down to the bottom of the pen, which probably isn't. There we go, look. So there's our gold coming out. So that's a successful. Now always put the lid on when you're not using it. Now I need something to lean on this page because this pastel hasn't got a fixative on it. You could put one on it right away. You can lean on a pad like that. It's not really big enough for my humongous hand. Hang on a minute. Found some scrap paper. This looks like my son's geology homework. Anyway, fold it in half. So you've got something to lean on all the time. And I'm going to start just drawing over the lines. I'm not going to demo all of this for you now. I shall do a little bit and then finish it off. But I just wanted to show you how it looked. Now I do, when it's wet, it really stands out, but I don't know how it's going to look once it dries. So I should do a little bit more. Now I do have a really ultra shiny chrome marker, which would look really impressive, but it's a little bit smelly and I'm not in the mood for smelly pens today. My sinusitis is all better. I'm feeling really good. I don't want to, I know it doesn't cause it, I'm not, it's not going to cause any problems, but I just don't want it at the minute. But some days I don't mind. Also, it's not massively smelly. It's not like, you know, you don't have to use it in a well ventilated room or outside like you do with fixative spray, but it's not really warm enough to open a window or anything in here. So it is sunny actually, but it is February, so it's not warm. So there is the start. I'm going to show you, tip it to the light. I think that looks quite pretty. So I'm going to do the whole thing now. I'm not going to do it all while I chatter to you. And complete the whole page. It's a bit easier for me to do it when I'm not on camera because I can keep in the lines a little bit better. You know, I'm not good at that. But anyway, and I'm going to go and wash my hand as well. I've got pastel all up my fingernail, which is nice. And I shall finish it. I shall take a photo for you and pop it at the end so you can have a look. It might not be easy for me to catch the light with the gold because you can see I can tip it to light here, but when taking a photo it's really quite tricky. So, oh, excuse me, so I'll finish it off. I shall grab a cup of tea, pop the photo up for you, and there we go. And I'm not going to put fixative on this page purely because I won't be using the facing page, so I'm not too worried about it. If you don't have fixative and you want to protect the other page, you could just slip a piece of paper in there. That's a simple solution. I've just noticed I've got lots of pastel dust. Probably would have been a good idea to brush the page off before going over with the pen, because the pastel dust might block the nib of the pen. But there we go. I'm going to stop waffling, get off and finish this, because I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to look when it's done. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that's given you a few ideas. You know, it's a lovely page. I really like this page and trying it in different ways. So anyway, thank you very much for watching and happy colouring.